Welcome to the Self-Sabotage Solution. It's big for a reason. Masterclass. This is a free masterclass for you guys. I was so excited to bring this to the table and bring this topic really truly to light because there is so much self-sabotage that goes on in the world of business owners and entrepreneurs, and also just anyone who doesn't have a business or isn't an entrepreneur. Self-sabotage is a culprit to destroy anything that you're desiring to work towards. It could be the body you want, the relationship you want, the income you want, the healthy mind that you want, whatever it is. Self-sabotage, right, limits us from anything and everything that we desire. So I thought, what an amazing subject to talk on, because this is something that I have dove into for years, and I am like the self-sabotage queen. So I feel like I have like a double PhD in this subject. I'm also a double Virgo Taurus. So self-sabotage, me, we were best friends for a long time. And I just thought that this would be the perfect topic to bring to the table. So some of you um, are new here, and I would love to hear from you guys. And so before we get in, I'd love to hear in the chat as I start talking and introducing myself. I'd love to know, what is your business, or what do you do as a side business? If you're on here tonight and you're watching this and you don't have a business, that's okay, because this information is going to be freaking phenomenal. If you're a stay-at-home mom, stay-at-home dad, awesome. Say that in the chat. Be proud of what you do. I don't shame people who have jobs. I think it's epic. I think it's awesome that people have jobs. There's a reason why the whole world spins the way that it does, and it's because there's people that go to work. The most important thing is are you happy at that job? That's always a question I ask. So what kind of business do you got? And I'd love a cliff note of, what are your goals this year? What's your focus? Just a little snapshot of, like, what do you want to call in? What do you want to claim this year? What are you creating? And where are you from? I know I have a bunch of people hopping on from all over. I currently live in Florida, West Palm Beach. It's on the East Coast. I'm originally from Utah, though, born and raised in Utah. I've also lived 5 years in California, San Diego area, Carlsbad, Newport, Southern San Diego, lived 5 years there. So I've also been nomadic before. So I traveled around for about 2 years and did the whole live out of your freaking suitcase thing and be an entrepreneur. So I've done it all. But I want to hear from you guys. I am Mikkel Rose. So some of you know me. I'm going to shrink this down. Um, and have worked with me. Some of you are my friends. Some of you probably just follow me and we've communicated online. And some of you are brand new here. It might be the first time you're experiencing me. And one of the things that you get to know about me, I'm a very fun, playful person. So I'm not conventional at all. So you are not going to get a conventional masterclass from me. We are going to have so much fun, and there's going to be a lot of playfulness. And there might be some F-bombs because that's just who I am. But I'm a multifaceted entrepreneur. I'm a visionary leader. Okay, I am an intuitive business mentor, a clairvoyant. I'm an oracle and a spiritual channel. So a lot of my stuff that I do is channeled from spirit. When my clients start to work with me, they actually start to realize just how spiritual I am and how much my coaching and guidance comes from just infinite source, right? I allow myself to be a vessel to work in this world, but I also am extremely strategic. Okay, I've had 5 businesses, and they were all very successful. Most of them in the earlier years were built on stress and force, and now I do more ease and play. And I really have figured out how to enjoy this entrepreneurial journey a lot more after 13 years of being an entrepreneur. I'm a multi-6-figure earner. I've helped my clients make so much money, but I think the most important thing is I've helped my clients build businesses that they fucking love. I've created over 12 courses, online courses. So I've been in this space for a really long time. I've been business coaching people for 8 years. I'm a 2-time published author, and I was a holistic nutritionist. So I've got a big nutrition background as well. So I'm a jack of all trades in a way, but I'm a master at many. So welcome here tonight. I am so excited that you guys are here. And let's jump in. So I want to set the stage really quick. Whenever you watch things like this and you hop onto, classes, my always my first ask of you is to just release all expectations. Be an empty vessel. Be an empty vessel to receive whatever it is that you're supposed to receive tonight. And if you can just take away one golden nugget, just one golden nugget, you're winning. Light up the chat. I'm a very interactive person. Light up the chat. It's so fun for me to see you guys interact. I'll be asking some questions tonight, and that's super fun. Also, disregard spelling. My brain works so fast. I just don't see that things are spelled wrong. Do I know how to spell the word? Probably. So flow with me. And in the years of being an entrepreneur and making, thousands of dollars, the last thing that I've learned to worry about is my spelling. So rock on, guys. If you are a perfectionist, I am really good medicine for you. Also have fun tonight. Be playful, laugh with me, because that's just what I do. I just love to bring laughter and light. And I also feel we learn better that way. When we are not so serious and rigid, we learn so much better. And then tonight we are going to be, I'm going to be doing a giveaway at the end of this call. So if you stay on for the entirety of the call, if you're catching this live, this is going to be a replay that goes out. So if you're catching this on a replay, the special giveaway does not apply to you. But I will be doing a special giveaway at the end of this. And yeah, just stay for the whole thing. And I will also be talking about ongoing support. If there is something in here that really speaks to you and you realize that you need a really big breakthrough, or you're ready for a breakthrough, or you're ready to take action, I'm going to be sharing some really cool things with you tonight as well. So before we begin, I'd love for everybody to just close their eyes for a second, even if you're moving, around, or if you're driving, no, but if you're kind of like busy, whatever, we're just going to connect to our breath for a second. Okay. We're going to drop into our body. And we're going to connect to this moment because you guys are probably all busy today, running around, working at jobs, maybe you have kids, maybe you're even in your kitchen right now and you're just moving around, or in your house or whatever. Even if you're still on the go and you're listening to this, I want you to connect to your breath. And I want you to just start to breathe in and out of your nose and slow everything down. Slowing everything down. And I'd love for you to take your breaths and try and breathe in for 8 seconds and out for 8 seconds. In for 8 seconds, out for 8 seconds. Noticing if there's any tension you're carrying in any parts of your body, and sending the breath to those parts. And you can start to bring your breath back to a normal deep breathing without the count. And just notice if you're breathing now deeper because you've been filling your lungs up. And you can start to envision roots just going down into the ground, even if you're walking or driving, just rooting down into wherever you're at. Letting the day melt away, letting any to-dos or busyness go to the side for the duration of this amazing masterclass. Let's go ahead and take a deep breath in. Holding and exhaling. And if your eyes were closed, you can open up your eyes. Welcome. So the first thing I'd love to touch on is why most businesses and entrepreneurs fail. Okay, this is always something to be aware of. And I always want to bring light to sometimes it's good to understand the problem before you understand the solution. So most people fail because they don't have a regulated nervous system. They can't handle stress. Okay. Usually it's not the business that's the problem. It's how we handle it, how we handle upset clients or how we handle pressure. It's why we end up like lacking confidence a lot of the times. We end up not trusting ourselves, right? And that's another reason, lack of confidence, lack of belief, lack of vision, or limiting beliefs or a poor mindset. But if you look at all of these things, a lot of these things always go back to a regulated nervous system. And it is literally the roots to everything. The roots to everything. The most powerful person in the room is the one with the most regulated nervous system, right? Because for many years, I'm in the spiritual industry and I was like, why are these amazing spiritual people why do they not have all of the wealth and success that maybe business people do? These guys and women out there who's more structured. And I started realizing they're probably more regulated in their bodies. And then I started to look and I started to pay attention and I started to realize there was so much truth to that. But there was also truth in the fact that they knew who they were and where they were going. They had more confidence and they prioritized their mindset, right? So this is kind of a little encompassing why most businesses fail or why most entrepreneurs fail. Another reason is they give up. And that goes back to lack of vision, or they're not going all in and they're just dabbling. That goes back to lack of vision, right? Or they don't have support. A lot of people try and do this on their own and they don't have anybody to lean on, anybody to talk to, anybody to troubleshoot things with. So this is why most entrepreneurs and businesses fail. If you Google this, you're going to come up with systems and financing and all of this stuff. But after 13 years in entrepreneurship, I'm going to tell you this right now. This is why people fail right here. And tonight, what we're going to be diving into is what is self-sabotage. We're going to go over the subconscious mind, the nervous system, and then we're going to break down the 5 pillars to overcoming self-sabotage: identity, mindset, nervous system, momentum, wise counsel, and then we're going to talk about some ongoing support. So why is all of this important? This is all important because if you desire to reach your goals, you got to know how to navigate the self-sabotage. And also, 80% of your business is energetics. You could have all of the strategies in the world, but if you don't know how to manage you and your nervous system and you don't know how to overcome self-sabotage, you won't succeed. I could give you the most perfect freaking strategy. And if you can't manage it, if you can't manage you and your mind, and you aren't actually expanding your nervous system to the capacity to hold more in your business, you're not going to call more clients in, right? It's a subconscious thing. It's in your mind. And then this is also important because if you want unlimited income, master your business, you will have unlimited income. Also, understanding how to overcome self-sabotage is where true fulfillment lies. Okay. And then the other reason why it's important is the unconscious mind sees business as unsafe. So when you understand that and you understand the workings of self-sabotage, you're able to rewire your subconscious mind that business is not a saber-toothed tiger. It is not a freaking polar bear chasing after you. It is not the boogeyman in the closet. Okay. So what is self-sabotage? Self-sabotage, simply put, is the ego's way of self-protection. Okay. It is a way that the mind tries to protect you. Sounds so weird, but it is, right? It's patterns that keep you small, destructive patterns that keep you small, right? And it's the unconscious mind running the show. The unconscious mind will literally be like, that is dangerous. That is dangerous. I can't believe you're doing that. Nope. Cue self-sabotage. You won't even know your subconscious mind is creating these behaviors, right? When we zone out on Instagram and binge, when we start a fight with somebody, when we start to think of negative thoughts, when we start to think of like limiting thoughts, things that feel heavy. These are all forms of self-sabotage. This is literally your unconscious mind protecting you. Because when we start to envision bigger goals and we start to envision change, it feels unsafe. And it goes, oh my gosh, I need to keep my human safe. Let me do these things that really slow her down or him down. And it's like, I'm going to let me throw in this, let me throw in this. And sometimes it's a sneak attack. Sometimes self-sabotage will come in and be like, I'm going to have you obsess about how you look so that you don't show up online. Or I'm going to have you get so busy in your personal life that you don't pay attention to your business. I'm going to have you hop on dating apps and get involved in a lot of different relationships so that you don't actually have a vision or goals. I'm going to have you obsess about your body. Oh no, I'm going to have you go and eat so much food that you start to hate yourself so that you don't put yourself out there. Okay, the ego's way of keeping us safe is very fucked up. I'm just going to say it how it is. And a lot of the times we don't realize it's related to our business. We think that these personal things in our life that are happening aren't related to our business. They absolutely are. Okay, you not taking care of the things in your home, or maybe you start to get really busy and you start to plan a lot and then you don't have time for your business, or you're not putting yourself out there, right? All of these things are related to your business. It is a form of self-sabotage. The ego is mind. If you don't have it under control, it will throw in anything and everything. And it knows you. It knows you. It knows how you operate. It knows exactly how to throw you off kilter, right? So it is so important for you to understand what flavors of self-sabotage you have, because this is where you're hitting your upper limits. This is why you are not making more money. This is why you're not calling in more clients. This is why you're still living in fear. This is why you haven't lost the weight. This is why you haven't called in the partner or have the healthier relationship, right? Self-sabotage, we got to get it under control. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to understand it tonight so that you can not have so many sneak attacks on you, and you can overcome this self-protection. And we're going to rewrite some stories tonight so that you feel better about your path, and so that you can start to call in more clients, so that you can relax into your mission, so that you can take some deep breaths, so you can get excited, so you can get playful again, and so you can stop self-sabotaging. So let's talk about the self-sabotage cycle. Okay, this is like that's something you need to remember. Okay, the first part of this is identity. Okay, the self-sabotage cycle begins with your identity, with how you see yourself. Then your identity goes into your thoughts. It creates your thoughts. Then your thoughts create your feelings, and your feelings create your actions, and your actions create your results. Okay, so let's say you have the identity of, I'm just kind of a coach. I'm just kind of a mentor. Because I've worked with tons and tons of coaches. That is it's been a term people have called me, the coach's coach, the Dharma doula. You were like, I'm a coach, I'm part-time, I'm just getting going. There's a limiting undertone to that. And then that creates your thoughts. And you start to think, are people going to think I'm dumb? I'm putting myself out there. What is my family going to think? Right? And you start to think things from that place, from that identity level. And it may be, I don't want to sound salesy. Who am I to be putting this out there? Right? Is anyone going to want my product or service? So your identity starts to create your thoughts, and then your thoughts start to dictate your feelings. And this is where you start to feel anxious, and you start to feel fear, or maybe doubt, or disappointment, or discouragement, or depression. or frustration because they're not empowering thoughts. And then you take action from that place, right? And that creates your results. So your actions aren't great, right? And then it creates your results. Now, here's the thing. The self-sabotage cycle kicks in here. Because when your identity is limited, it already kicks in. It's like, oh, I got my human. I got my human. Yep, we're not going anywhere. Because usually we have a goal, we have a vision, we have a place we're going, right? But our identity, how we see ourselves, actually doesn't align to that goal. Because how we see ourselves is we see ourselves as not that person yet. And so we start to make moves from that place, but your thoughts and your feelings, this is where it kicks in. And your results, if you don't have a strong identity in where you're going, you're going to have your self-sabotaging behaviors kick in. And that's how self-sabotage starts to work. So we have to focus on the identity, and we're going to get to that tonight. Now, before we go more into that cycle, I want to talk about upper limits for a second. So your upper limit is your comfort zone. And let me tell you this, a comfort zone is not comfortable. Okay, your comfort zone is what you're familiar with. It should be called the familiarity zone, but obviously it's a hard thing to say. So you've got your comfort zone, right? Our comfort zone, our upper limit is what makes us feel safe. It is like, it's like a barometer or a thermostat. It's and this happens with how much money we make, right? If we are comfortable making a certain amount of money, we will always come back down to that. We will get up and then come back down, right? If we are comfortable with receiving only so much love, we're going to get to where we're at. And as soon as we hit that upper limit, we're going to sabotage. And that's actually a really good example. Have you ever been in a relationship and somebody starts to maybe love you too much, or maybe you start to not feel worthy of that person's love and you start to self-sabotage it? That is an upper limit, because unworthiness is the feeling created from the identity that you have, right? You have an identity that you are not worthy of X, Y, and Z. So then that creates your thoughts of, oh my gosh. And then that creates your feelings, which starts to like repel like opportunities and people and love. And that creates your actions. And then you move from that place and you start to do really like dysfunctional things, right? So our upper limit is our comfort zone, and it is what makes us feel safe. Now I want to break this down in a diagram for you guys, okay? So this is going to be your upper limit right here. The line is your upper limit. When we start to grow in our business, when we start to grow in general, even in love, even in all the things, that's why this is so cool. You can apply this to every area of your life. When you start to grow and you have this vision or you have this goal, you're like, this is where I'm going. And you come to here. Your upper limit is your identity. It is your unconscious identity. Okay, your vision for where you're going is not your identity. Your vision for where you're going is not your identity. It is who you believe you are at an unconscious level. And you will know who you believe you are based upon the results that you're getting in your life. If you aren't having the love that you want, if you're not getting the money that you want, the clients that you want, the success, the view, whatever, the relationships, whatever it is, the body, you have an unconscious identity issue and you are hitting your upper limits. And whenever we hit our upper limits in our mind, right, we go, I've hit my max of who I see myself as. Cue self-sabotage. This is where overthinking is, stress, anxiety, fear, doubt, numbing, you name it. Shopping, sex, porn, addictions, whatever that is, retraction. Like this is where anxious and avoidant attachment styles kick in, where you start to avoid things or you start to become hyper obsessed over things, right? It's an upper limit problem. Okay, so when you understand these two things about kind of like how the cycle of self-sabotage works and your upper limits, you now can start to figure out, okay, so how do I break through my upper limit? You break through your upper limit by creating a new identity. Okay. You create a new identity, you master the mind, and you master your nervous system. Okay. You will shatter your upper limits. Okay. Because you're in that place, you are going to create, you're like, okay, I'm going to create a new identity for myself. And this is something I have an entire training on how to create your new identity inside of my mastermind program, Rooted Momentum. And this is like the fundamental foundation of what we do inside of Rooted Momentum, my mastermind, because we have to create a new identity to shatter these glass ceilings, right? But the mastery of the mind and the mastery of the nervous system is rooting you in so that you don't blow yourself out, right? Because a lot of the times, the reason why we feel unsafe to grow is because we feel unsafe in our body. We're not mastering our nervous systems. We're actually not creating a safe environment for our bodies to feel safe. We're not releasing things and programmings and fears and all the things, okay? So this is how you shatter through your upper limits. So now let's talk about the nervous system for a second. So the nervous system, so here we go, ends. This is supposed to say sends, winning. The nervous system sends messages back and forth between the brain and the body, okay? And there's this amazing thing called neuroception. I don't know if you guys have heard of this. I'd love to know in the chat if you guys heard of neuroception. So neuroception is your body's ability to feel around and distinguish if people, places, things, events, what's going on is life-threatening or dangerous. Okay, neuroception is different than perception. Okay, oops. So perception is what our conscious mind perceives. We're like, oh, the perception of this person, right? Like, if you ever walked into a room and you can see someone, they might be dressed really cool, and you're like, oh, awesome, they look great. And then you start to get closer to them and you feel their energy, and something about your spidey sense just starts to go off like a ding, 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 ding. Like, I don't like this person. You don't know why you don't like this person. You don't know anything about that person, but your neuroception is telling you that person's a danger. Okay? Perception and neuroception are completely different. So our neuroception is the unconscious part of us. It is a part of us that is keeping us safe. So it does the same when you go to make a post online. You're like, oh, I'm going to make a post about my business. And your neuroception is like, your receptors are like, nope, that's not safe. Sally might fucking hate you for saying this, or your aunt might judge you for this. And immediately it becomes unsafe. And when things become unsafe, you do cue self-sabotage, right? So this is why understanding your subconscious mind is so important, and understanding your nervous system. Because when you start to notice that you're resisting doing something, it's because your neurotransmitters have picked up on something in your world and it's gone, that's not safe. And it's going to keep you from calling in new clients, putting out that product, doing that live, creating that reel, going to that meeting, creating that opportunity, filling out that business loan, because whatever you're doing feels unsafe. And our brain doesn't know the difference between a saber-toothed tiger and a polar bear, or I'm just going to have a conversation today with a human. It knows no different when your neuroception receptors go off. It's like, nope, danger, danger. And this is what creates self-sabotage, because again, the brain is very smart and knows how to keep you safe. It goes, I know exactly what I need to do to keep my human safe. So our job is to make sure that we are working with our ego. Our ego becomes our best friend, where we start coddling it and we're like, it's okay. Like, no, we're fine. We're going to be good. So we have to understand these things. So the next thing is the subconscious or unconscious mind. Okay. And I found this model a while ago about these things, because I interchange them and people will be like, what's the subconscious? What's the unconscious? And I really think that they're interchangeable for the most part. But I saw this diagram one time and I thought this was so amazing. So the conscious mind defines everything that you can see and touch. It's our awareness, right? And the subconscious mind defines our reactions, right? That we don't really have to think about, our actions that we don't have to think about, brushing our teeth, driving our car to work. Our subconscious mind is getting us places. Like, let's say you're having a conversation with someone and you're like, Like it's like a subconscious response when someone's like, oh yeah, like, oh, I'm just doing this. And you're like, oh yeah, I totally get it. Right. It's just an subconscious response. It's just kind of like your nature. But the unconscious mind, this is the part that kills us, you guys. It is the part of us that we don't know is operating. It is the part that remembers everything that's ever happened to us that we don't remember. And it is a database of things. It is a database of things and is going to look for dangers based upon those things. Okay. And it runs the freaking show. So something to think about is your unconscious mind is 90%, 95% of your actions and reactions. Okay. How crazy is that? 95% of your reactions and actions are from the unconscious mind. So we're saying that your mind and what you choose to do is literally based on things that you probably don't even remember, which is so crazy, right? So you don't know why you think you know why you're not scaling your business. You think you know why you're not, sharing more with people, but you don't. It's your unconscious mind, right? It's running the show. So here's the thing about it. The subconscious, you're really like a puppet, right? You're a little puppet to your subconscious mind. It is playing movies inside of your subconscious mind to keep you safe. Okay. So go ahead and try this exercise on for a second. Go ahead and think of your mind in your brain inside of your skull, and think of the front part of it. Just 5% of the front part of your brain is what you actually are operating from. And think like, okay, the front part of my brain is assessing everything that I see on a day-to-day basis. It is my conscious thoughts. It's me going, I'm going to go to the gym. It's me saying, I'm going to eat this for dinner. It's me saying, I'm going to say this to so-and-so. That's the conscious mind. And then in the other 95% of that little noggin of yours, you've got movies playing. Not just one, you have a lot of fucking movies playing. And these are horror movies. Okay? You don't even know that they're playing. And it is every movie inside of your life that has ever happened to you that is probably a negative experience that it's playing. And that's where your neuroception, your little neurotransmitters, that they're picking up based on those movies that are playing. Okay? So when I work with someone, these are meditations that I do. You can do meditations to go in and rewire your subconscious mind. Super easy. You can even find things online to do it. You can have a therapist. You can figure out how to do this stuff on your own. I figured out how to do it on my own. I can just go in. You can actually envision going in there. And even right now, you can ask yourself, what is one movie in your subconscious mind that you know is playing? What is one movie you know? What's one story you know you play out? And go ahead and put it in the chat. What is one story you play out when it comes to your business that you know that you is going on in your subconscious mind? You're like, yep, that's it. That's it. And maybe it's you're not good with money, or nobody's going to want your stuff, or who am I to do this? And if you can trace that back to maybe a moment in time where that story originated from, that's the movie that's playing, right? That's the movie that's playing. And when that movie is playing and you have a similar life experience happen, your body starts to create stress hormones to make you realize that there's danger and to have you retract, right? So this is also why plant medicine is so popular, because the plant medicine gets you into your unconscious mind. Okay. EMDR therapy does, breath work, NLP does, right? All of these things do. I use Hoppe. Hoppe is an amazing tool as well. Like there's so many things that you can do to play around with this unconscious mind. If you're not into plant medicines, there's tons of meditations that you can do. And also, this is why working with someone who has more knowledge about this actually really helps. But again, you guys can do this on your own. You can start to like play with this and be like, okay, what is this story? And I'm going to share this tonight when we touch base on the mind. So How's everybody feeling so far? How's this landing? Because we're about to go into the solution part. We're about to head into your guys' solutions so you know actually how to solve this. I highlighted the problem. So now you know the problem. You know, you're like, okay, I get self-sabotage. I'm starting to understand self-sabotage. I'm going to read some of these. Money scarcity in who I am. Yes. I'm not as talented as those I look up to. I love this, you guys. Those are amazing little, like, I like that you put that, like, money scarcity, like there's a scarcity of money, or I don't have enough, right? That is your subconscious mind telling you, like, go get a job, stay at your job, stay somewhere safe, right? And who am I to offer solutions to others, right? Like, who am I to offer solutions? That at some point your voice was not safe. At some point, someone made you feel really stupid or made you feel like you were responsible for their happiness, and it became unsafe to offer solutions to someone else. That's the subconscious mind. And when you can break it down like that, you guys, you can start to overcome self-sabotage. Okay? I am loving this. The gene keys. Oh my gosh, Mercedes, I am so glad you said this. The gene keys is like my Bible for moving from a lower frequencies to higher frequencies, which is basically moving out of self-sabotage, because it makes you the observer. I would say one of the most powerful tools, and this is going to be in the mind section, is to become the observer of your reality. That is the fastest way to stop self-sabotage in its tracks, is observation, right? Because identity, when we identify with what we're experiencing in these stories, we start to create those results, right? Like if we go, I'm identifying with this story, we're going to think thoughts from that place. We're going to feel things from that place. We're going to move from that place, and we're going to get results from that place. Does that make sense? So when we identify with something, that's where the problem lies. It's not bad that we have these thoughts. You can absolutely have the thoughts of, oh my gosh, I'm worried about money. Oh, I'm worried about money. Okay, let it come up. Meet it. Oh my gosh, a guest just came over to the house. I'm worried about money. And you just observe it. You're like, is this my thought? Are these my thoughts? Where did these thoughts come from? Is there truth to these thoughts? Right? So when you become the observer of stories that come up, you de-identify or unidentify. That's the proper word. You unidentify. When you become the observer, you unidentify. And that would be the most powerful tool to start to reprogram your subconscious too, because then your subconscious is playing these movies and it goes, wait a hot second. We've been overrode, right? You can actually you can start to program in things like, how people can hack into your computer and put in bugs and program things. You can literally program your subconscious mind. You're like, I'm going to program my subconscious mind to believe something else. Sometimes we don't even have to go in there and find out what story's playing. We just have to write over the current one that's in our mind, right? We just have to write over it. We're like, oh, I want this story. I want to identify with that story. And when we start to identify with new stories, we overcome self-sabotage and we start to move in the direction that we want to go. Okay. So let's talk about the solution, even though I've already started. So the solution roadmap looks really similar, doesn't it? The solution roadmap is similar for a reason. The problem is the solution. The problem is the solution. What we identify with, right? So we're going to identify with something new. We're going to focus on mastering our minds and choosing to think thoughts that empower us. We're going to focus on our nervous system because that dictates how we feel. We're going to get into momentum because momentum kills self-sabotage in its tracks. And for the results, in place of the results, because we're going to have way better results through this little roadmap. We're going to have support, our wise counsel, our community, right? So this is a solution roadmap. So number one, identity. We must align to a new identity to have transformation. So this is literally step one into overcoming self-sabotage. This is so we can get in front of self-sabotage, okay? So our new identity has to be something that we feel inside of our body. And I'm going to show you something that is, it's a true transformation roadmap. I got this from Tony Robbins, okay? If you guys have been to any of his little concerts, and yes, I call them concerts because if you have ever been to a Tony Robbins event, it is a concert. You are jumping and moving and doing all of the things every fucking 5 or 10 minutes. It is epic. So he has this thing about how to create real transformation. He's echoed this for years. So most people, when they want to transform and they want to change, they have these goals, they want to go somewhere. They start with the decisions and then they focus on the patterns to get to the new identity. Okay? But the way to actually do it is to start with the identity first. You make new decisions from that place, and then you develop new patterns. And the best way of explaining this is giving the example of someone who decided to be vegan. Okay? If somebody wanted to be vegan, but they didn't identify with veganism, they would try to make decisions from that place and create new patterns. The problem is when you try to create new patterns without a new identity, it's hard. You have nothing anchoring you in. Okay? Your identity anchors you in. If you don't have that identity anchoring you in, the moment it gets a little rough, you're going to go right back to the way you were doing things. Right? You're going to be like, I'm just going to eat a hamburger. This is way too hard. Way too hard. Because you're making decisions, trying to create new patterns to get to an identity. But if you had that identity, if you said, no, I'm vegan, and you identified completely different, what happened is you quantum leap who you are. You're like, nope, I am. This is who I am. So when you go to the grocery store, you know, this is how I identify, and you start to shop from that place. And you start to, I'm going to get this, I'm going to get that. And when it's hard, right? When it's hard, it's okay. You're going to develop those patterns. You're going to keep making those decisions until those patterns are created. This is no different when you want to be a business CEO, right? And you want to be an entrepreneur, a successful entrepreneur, 7-figure, 8-figure, whatever you want. Even if you want to make, I just want to make 100 grand. If you want to make that shift, you have to identify as that. And this is a big thing. A lot of the times when I talk with entrepreneurs, and especially even with like promoting things like this, like the self-sabotage solution for business owners and entrepreneurs, so many people don't even identify as a business owner. And if you don't identify as a business owner, that is your first problem. If you're waiting for your business to take off, if you're waiting to have all of this money to identify as a business owner or to identify as an entrepreneur, you are never going to be successful. Because you've already killed yourself. You've already killed your ability to have really wicked results. You got to identify as a business owner. You have to say it loud and proud. Be like, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a business owner. And then you have to ask yourself, what kind of business owner do I actually want to freaking be? Where am I going? And you can start to visualize this. See, and this is the first in my mastermind. This is our first theme. We spend so much ample time here because if you know who you identify as, you have an anchor. Okay, you are so anchored in. You are like, I am rooted in, and you can start to grow from that place. And when you hit your edges, you just shatter through those glass ceilings. Because you know who the fuck you are because you've identified with someone different. Okay. And I have really amazing anchoring tools that I help my clients with to anchor into this new identity through my mastermind. And it is so incredible, you guys, when you have an anchor of an identity. Because when shit goes freaking wild, because here's the thing, I will guarantee you this, it will be bananas. It will be crazy when you go, this is where I'm going. life is going to be like, are you sure? God is going to fucking test you. And if you go, no, I'm dead ass serious, this is where I'm going, it's going to say, are you sure? Are you sure? And when you have that new identity, you're like, yes, I'm freaking sure. And that's when your ceilings become your new floor. Let me say that again. When you have a new identity that you align to, your ceilings, your once glass ceilings that you're bumping into, become your new floor that you're standing on to go up. Okay. The second thing, mindset. You guys, inner engineering is so important. You have to understand, you have to prioritize this like you do taking a shower. Okay. If you do not prioritize mastering your mind and mastering your thoughts, you're going to be so easily taken out. This is that deep roots part, right? The deep roots, you guys, I listen to audios every morning. I journal, I work out, I breathe, right? I work on my mindset. I am intentionally changing my patterns. And this is again where you become the observer. You have to observe yourself more than judge yourself. You have to observe yourself more than you judge yourself. Observation will set you free. And when you master your mind, when you start to, and mastering your mind is really becoming the observer of your mind. I think that's like something I want you to take in for a second. Because I think we think of mastering our mind as this like trophy to win, like I control my thoughts. You will never control your thoughts. Your mind is a runaway train. But what you can do is become the observer of your thoughts. And when you become the observer of your thoughts, that runaway train stops running. And it probably becomes like, I don't know, a bunny. Right? These things that were so out of control and taking us out all of a sudden look so innocent and silly. Right? So mastering your mind really is becoming the observer. It's being able to question your behavior, question why you do things, question the truths that you believe in, and you observe them, right? And then the other part of the mindset is choosing to see what it is that you want to see. You know, I anchor in my vision every day, but I have to choose to think that every day. I have to tell myself, like, oh, you're a 7-figure, 8-figure business earner, right? That is who you are. You are a community leader. And I have to anchor that in every day. And I have to tell myself that every day. And I start to meditate on that. I'll literally meditate and do, 15 minutes of breathing to that vision. No, this is who I am. I'm already that person. It's not a get to, I'm already that person. And when you start to work on that mindset, you can like really, really sink that in, right? Because when you start to think things that feel heavy, right? That's your ego. If it feels heavy, it is the ego. And if it feels light, that's spirit. That's your highest self. Your highest self, that's where you need to move from. So anything that feels heavy, you're like, these are not my thoughts. You can literally say that, these are not my thoughts. And then you can disable them, disarm them. And then you can start to get to the roots, right? It's like inside my mastermind, rooted momentum. It's a play on word on so many levels. Roots. We get to the roots of why we are not doing what we're doing, why we're not calling in the clients that we want, the love that we want, the money that we desire, right? So we have to be aware of what thoughts are ours, what thoughts are not ours. If it feels light, it's your thought. If you can envision where you're going and it just makes you so high, you're like, yes, that's what I want. It's your spirit. God saying that's where you're supposed to go. And when you start to think of things of like, oh, but I can't, that is not you. That is your ego. Those are not your thoughts. Limiting beliefs are not your thoughts. And when you start to say that, you start to set yourself free. And then that self-sabotaging behavior, right? Like, let's say you're an overthinker and you're an obsessor like me. When a thought comes up and you're obsessing about it, you can actually go, wait, hold on. This doesn't feel good. This is not my thought. Okay. Whose thought is this? Where did it come from? Or sometimes I just go, this is not my thought. Unsubscribe. You can ask my my team. I do it all the time. I'm like, nope, I'm unsubscribing. I will literally just unsubscribe. Sometimes you guys, to reprogram your mind and to reprogram your behavior, you don't have to go diving into the depths of it. I used to do that for years. For years, I would dive into the depths. I'm like, I need to understand where this comes from and how deep is this? And this come from my mom. And I'm going to go do this ceremony around it. And I'm going to do this release around it. And I'm going to go shake it out and scream it out. And yes, I have done all of that. But one of my most powerful tools is to just be like, I don't subscribe to that anymore. Sometimes it's that easy and just be like, I'm going to move away from it. I'm unsubscribing. And this is not like spiritual bypassing, right? There is a level of that. It can be a bypass. You can bypass something. But honestly, you guys, there are so many times when I get on the phone with somebody or I work with a client that they are so obsessed with figuring out where this one thing came from that if they just unfucking subscribe to it, they could move forward. So again, that's the self-sabotage. The self-sabotage knows you. And it's going to go, ooh, she actually likes to be introspective. I'm going to paint this pink. I'm going to put a bow on it, and I'm going to disguise it as self-reflection. And I'm going to get her so lost into self-reflection, she stays here for the next 2 years. And I'm going to convince him or her, right, that until this story is completely eradicated, that the money won't come in. That is the ego. You guys, it is a labyrinth. I call it the ego labyrinth. Don't let it trick you. So sometimes you just go, this is not my thought. It's not serving me. Doesn't feel good. You can come back to it later if you need to. Right? So here's some tools to start to change your mind. Right? You got a whole bunch. Vision anchoring, changing your patterns and habits. Well, and one of my favorites is actually just taking action. I'm gonna take action. I'm gonna just override this. And also having fun. Yeah, fun is one of the best ways to tell your mind to shut the fuck up. I'm like, I'm just having fun. Like I'm having even this masterclass. This is so fun. You know, times like my brain in the past would be like, oh my gosh, you're gonna put yourself out there. Oh my gosh. Now I'm like, no, this is gonna be so much fun. Like you and I, we're all having a party here. Like let things be fun. Let making reels be fun. Let being online be fun. Let, signing on clients be fun. Like when you can make things fun, they're not scary. Like your brain's like, wait a minute, she's trying to have fun doing this? Well, it's supposed to be scary, right? Momentum, get movement, you guys, clean the house, do something. Like sometimes like to start to manage your mind and to get control of your nervous system, you got to move your body or move things in the house, right? Stimulate your brain differently. MDR, NLP. I do a bunch of mindset reprogramming meditations with my clients and in my courses. If you were in liberation, we did one almost every other call. Inside of my mastermind, we're going to be doing tons of this. This is part of the rooted part. And then also being around others with elevated minds. I cannot tell you how powerful this is to help change your mind. When I get around other people who are at a higher vibrational frequency than me, like even you guys hopping on here tonight, I don't know who you're surrounded by, but maybe these conversations aren't being had. And when you start to be around these conversations, you start to elevate your consciousness and it starts to rewire your subconscious mind. That is why we love podcasts. That's why we love audiobooks, because it's actually entering our subconscious mind. It's starting to rewrite stories for us when we're around others, listen to others that have elevated minds, more elevated minds than what we have. Okay, number 3. We are moving through this. The nervous system. You guys, please prioritize breath work. Prioritize breath work, right? Prioritize somatic work like you do eating and taking a shower. Please, please, if I could echo this, like if I could go into the school system and change one thing, there's a billion things I wish I could go and change, but I would go and implement nervous system regulation as when we were little, teaching us how to slow the fuck down. When we slow down, when we are able to calm our body, and this is done through breath, this is why people love working out, right? Somatic releases, like all these things, you guys, everything we desire is on the other side of a regulated nervous system. Like, regulate to elevate. If you take one key idea from this webinar or this masterclass, regulate to elevate, my loves. Regulate to elevate. If you feel like you're not creative, you're not regulated, right? If you feel like you keep sabotaging yourself, you're not regulated. If you keep getting frustrated, you're not regulated. If you start attracting chaos, you're not regulated. Like, for real, I could just be like, you need to breathe. Because breath creates space. Just like at the beginning of this call, I just had you guys drop in. You only need 2 minutes. My current meditation that I did for 40 days, I did 8 minutes a day of breathing. Just circular breathing, in and out of your nose. You could, if you want to take it one step further, in and out of an O mouth. Try it. 8 minutes, 2 songs. Just breathe in and out of an O mouth. You would be amazed at what this does. And this is something that I focus on so heavily with my clients. Okay, regulate to elevate. So the nervous system is actually an incredible neural network in our body. And we can help regulate it in multiple different ways, many, 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 many ways. It doesn't just have to be through breath, but if you want the fastest way, it's through breath. But breath work, meditation, body massage, lymphatic massages, powerful movements. One of my favorite ways to really like shake out my nervous system if I'm super fritzed. Let's say like something rattled my nervous system. I've had like a failed launch or missed payments or whatever. Like in the past, I used to just completely go sideways. Like if a client let me know, hey, I can't continue my program. Oh my God, all the bells and whistles of alarms would go off in my body and I wasn't present. I'd start to panic. Oh my gosh, was it me? Da, 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 right? This was the old me. Guys, I would go and work out like a mad woman, punch some bags, run. I'd drop back into my body and I'd be able to see the situation for what it is. That's why shaking or dancing or singing is so powerful. Journaling slows us down, right? Talking to someone or mirroring, it also regulates our nervous system. It creates happy endorphins when we're able to process something with someone. Vision anchoring, again, this is stuff that I teach inside of my mastermind, but vision anchoring is having a vision. It's going to anchor you into your identity. Just tuning back into that higher version of yourself can start to regulate your nervous system. Mantras, nature, baths, music, frequencies. I'll listen to hollow syncing at night, or I listen to some nighttime reprogramming stuff. It's also an amazing way to reprogram your mind is to listen to stuff while you're sleeping, because your unconscious mind doesn't need you awake to hear those things. Literally does not need you awake to hear those things. So the 4th thing is momentum. Okay, momentum is such an underrated tool, because a lot of the times the reason why we're not scaling in our businesses or moving forward in our businesses is because we're not moving. Like if we feel stuck, it's because we're not moving, right? And I see this a lot where people are waiting to see the whole vision, right? They need steps. They need strategies, right? This is self-sabotage. If you are someone who clings to ideas, right? I need a plan of action. I need to know. No. Control, like I need to know before I move. This is a form of self-sabotage. Your mind has tricked you. It's like, oh, I know this person so well. I know that if I make them obsess about knowing what's the next step, they won't take a next step. Because again, your ego wants to keep you not moving forward. But if you just make moves, intentional moves forward, right? You're going to start overriding that self-sabotage. Because here's the thing, if you stay into action, right? Those next steps that you're looking for are going to reveal themselves. I actually think I have that here. So one step at a time. So momentum creates momentum, right? Momentum creates momentum. But here's the thing. If you are someone who wants to know the whole vision, and this is so big, when I have my clients, like people want to sign up with me one-on-one and do a program with me, what they do is I have them fill out a questionnaire. And there's a question on there that says, what are you struggling with most? And I have like all of these scales and little buttons I can press. The top selected thing is they don't know the next steps. And yes, you want to know strategy and what do I want to do and where am I going? Yes, it is important. However, a lot of the times you just need to make that next move just one step at a time, and the next thing will present itself to you. I did entrepreneurship for 4 years before I had a mentor or a plan. I literally was balls to the wall, chaos on wheels, but I didn't give a fuck. I was like, I knew where I was going. I knew what I wanted to do. And I was going to figure it out, right? I was going to figure it out. I didn't care how long it took me, how many failures it took me, how many times I had to mess up, how many lessons. I just knew if I failed enough, I would figure out the right way to do it. And so I would just make one move at a time, one move at a time. So a lot of the times, if we just make moves, we start to override that self-sabotage, because again, self-sabotage is here to keep us grounded and stuck. That's what it is. Self-sabotage is the ego's way of keeping us where we're at. So if we're moving, we're not a sitting duck, right? But we also have to move with trusting the unfolding, right? Like moving with attachments is a surefire way to send yourself into self-sabotage or to create some business PTSD. Like you have to trust that there's a timing of your business. There's a timing of what's going to happen for you that you're not in control of, but you are, right? Like you can quantum leap yourself. You can get things moving, but to attach to those things isn't okay, because then that way you're limiting yourself, because a lot of the things that I thought I wanted weren't what I wanted. And spirit brought me something so much better. Like I've had 5 businesses. I never thought when I first started my entrepreneurial journey 13 years ago that I would be teaching business. But oh my God, is my life so much better than I thought it could be? Is the stuff that I'm doing so much more epic? Yes. Are the people that I'm working with just incredible? Yes. Because I was trusting in the unfolding. I was trusting in my evolution. And I was allowing myself to move forward. So this gets you through self-sabotage, right? When you move, God moves. And you're realizing that it's not, okay, I've become the observer and I'm making moves from a more light space with less attachments, with less control. And you move, God moves. And when you have this identity you're moving with, you're going to call in exactly the opportunities and people, places, and things that you desire. Like if you guys ever had where I know you guys have had this moment before, where when you finally went all in and you started to make moves from that aligned place, and you're like, I'm doing this, all of a sudden, all of the opportunities and everything starts happening for you. When you move, God moves. That's why when you move, God moves. The other thing with momentum that I love to talk about is leverage. Okay. Burn the fucking boats. Like self-sabotage doesn't have its leverage on you when you have more leverage on it. And what do I mean by that? Burn the boats. Go all in on yourself, right? I remember my first mentor, was 10K. I had to put down $1,000 down, and I had no money. Y'all, I had no money. And I put that money in, and I thought, okay, I'm all the way the fuck in. And when you're all the way in on something and you burn the boats, there's no other choice. Like, when things start to come up, limiting beliefs and these little stories that we're telling ourselves and these little gremlins, like, they don't have weight because we have more weight over here. We've gone all in. I'm like, nope, this is what I've put. I have leverage. I have put my energy over here. The scales have tipped. I'm winning, not the self-sabotage. Leverage is real, and that's momentum. You're like, I'm putting this in. So when you go all in on something, you've burned the boats. You're in, right? So that is also how you can keep self-sabotage at bay with the art of momentum. So then the fifth thing I want to talk about is support. Okay. You guys, I would not be where I'm at if I did not have people in my life, friends, mentors, communities that were doing the same thing in the sense of going after their dreams. If I didn't have them in my life to talk to bounce things back off, like back and forth with, I know for a fact I'd quit. I would have quit a million times over, for sure, because I would have just shrunk back down into my comfortable little lifestyle and just probably never done anything with my life if I wouldn't have surrounded myself with people. I have been doing masterminds. I have been working with mentors for 13 years. I get myself involved in communities and around people, having conversations that elevate me, that change my mindset, that help me remember I'm not alone. Because I feel like it can be a very lonely path as a business owner. That is one of the big things, is you feel alone. I can't even tell you how many people I've talked to that want to quit their business or like not even want to live. I've had moments even in my entrepreneurial journey where I've literally prayed, please, God, if this is it, take me. I am not enjoying this journey anymore. And when you are completely isolated, and this is something that self-sabotage does, self-sabotage isolates the fuck out of you. And when you're isolated, you can get bombarded. You will, like, the self-sabotage will tag team you. It will like gang jump you with all the things, and you will be wiped out. But when you have people around you, and when you have community, and you know you're not alone, and people around you are having the same conversations, self-sabotage has no hold on you, has no power on you. And that is a big part of rewriting that subconscious mind. When you have a friend or someone you know that's going through something similar, you're like, oh, I'm not alone. Right? When I call my team and I'm like, hey, I'm struggling with this. I call my best friend, I'm struggling with this. Hey, I need to bounce this off of you. The moment I start to share it with someone that has, that's in this game with me, and they don't have to even have the same business. They're doing their thing too. They sit there and they get me out of my head, and they get me back into my heart. They get me back into my body. This is also a massive, massive anchor. So if you're doing this thing and you've been doing it on your own for a long time, the fact of the matter is you absolutely can do business by yourself. You can absolutely do business by yourself. I did for the first 4 years. But I also was going and getting around, right? Like, I didn't hire a mentor. I didn't pay for a mentorship or anything for the first 4 years of my entrepreneurial career. And after that, I became like a junkie, because I was like, oh my God, this is literally the roots to my true evolution. I've tripled my income every time I've invested into a mastermind or a mentor. However, if you don't got that, go to your local meetups, right? Get online. There are so many amazing memberships out there that are like $100. Dive into their content. Like, there are so many things that you can do. You can network. I have reached out to people and be like, hey, I think you're super badass. I'd love to connect. Get on conversations with people. Reach out. There is no reason why you should be alone and isolated. That is self-sabotage to a T. It's going, I'm going to keep this person alone, because if I keep this person alone, they will not take action forward. The moment that you get around other people doing things, it's contagious. It is fucking contagious. And that is how you will skyrocket up. And you're like, oh, holy shit, I'm going somewhere. Whoa. So, and also wise counsels are frequency attunements. It's like a radio station, right? I have one of my really good friends. He is one of the highest, most clear channels I've ever met. I absolutely love him to death. I can have one phone call with him, and he recalibrates my frequency and everything changes. I have another mentor, same thing every time. I could do one call with her, boom, it changed my frequency. I actually had a client do that with me. We had a call. We thought it was going to take 3. She did like a 3-session package with me. We did one 90-minute call. That one 90-minute call recalibrated her frequency so much. She went from 40K launches to 100K launches. I had another client. She had 3 sessions with me, right? 3 sessions. She ended up getting her own place, leaving the relationship that wasn't serving her. She ended up starting her healing business and taking off. Like everything changed with three sessions because we just did frequency attunements. I attuned her to a new frequency, right? So when we get around people who have higher set point frequencies than us, it literally just, it quantum leaps us. So there's, right? That mindset, or we get around people who have a more regulated nervous system than us, does the same thing. We can attune to that. And it is so, so powerful. So this was the Self-Sabotage Solution Masterclass, my loves. And I really hope that this information spoke to you and helped you, because this information has literally changed my life. I'd love to know in the chat if there was a key takeaway that you took from this. And as I'm doing this, I'm going to transition into sharing something for ongoing support for you guys. I have an incredible mastermind, and that mastermind, yeah, how is this light up the chat as I share this? So I have an incredible mastermind called Rooted Momentum, and it is a absolute frequency recalibrator. It is 8 months long. It is a membership hybrid, so it's something that you can keep enrolling into. And the reason why it's 8 months long is I really believe change and true transformation cannot happen overnight. It cannot happen in, 30, 60, 90 days. And you would be amazed at how fast 4 months goes by. I usually do 4 months with my privates, with my private one-on-ones, and all of a sudden they're like, 4 months, oh my gosh, that ended so fast. But the other part is it's part of my branding. You can see it in the awesome little 8 that I have there. And Rooted Momentum, the roots and momentum, they're one and the same. To sustainably grow a business, that's what I really stand here for. I stand for sustainability in the growth of your business, and I stand to be fully nourished in your business. So what I teach in this is about self-nourishment, right? How do we really nourish ourselves? How do we recreate our identity? So we're going to be recreating our identity inside of this mastermind. You also get you get mentorship with me, private mentorship. There are 2 group coaching calls a month inside of here. There are 2 live trainings like this every month. You guys get access to all of my content, like all of my courses. It's $46,000 worth of my courses that you get access to while you're part of this. It's not lifetime access. You just get access to every single thing that I've ever created. Like if you wanted to buy all of my individual courses, it would cost you $46K. You get immediate access to all of those when you're inside of my mastermind, and you're able to plug into everything. I have things for high level people. I have things for just beginners on how to start a coaching business, how to scale social media. I have stuff for your body, right? Sacred living. I was a nutritionist, so I created a course around that. I have a course on mastering your mind, and I'm going to be doing new courses this year as well that you'll get immediate access to. So it is incredible. And really where this came from is I wanted this to also be an accessible program. So a lot of my coaching has been high ticket coaching where it's over $1,000 a month. And a lot of people can't do that when they're trying to grow and scale their business. They're wanting to put their funds into other things. So it's also extremely accessible. You're going to be having an amazing community inside of here. And the reason why I created this is because I realized part of the pillars of overcoming self-sabotage and reaching new heights was about having community. So you're going to have a variety of entrepreneurs inside of this community that you're able to connect with, and you know, hey, I'm doing this offering. Hey, I have this, or I'm trying this. Is this working? What are you guys doing? And you can share so much with each other. So it's a hub of amazing things, of trainings, mentorship, and then also every quarter I do a really fun, epic experience where you're able to do art or poetry slams, because I really think expressing ourselves artistically is so important. If you're in Utah, I think I'm going to do the first one in Utah. You can also, we're going to be plugging in live where you can hop in through Zoom, but most of them will be through Zoom and you can hop in live. It is the most incredible thing I have ever created. I'm so fucking excited. And I'd love to know, I'm going to move into the giveaway. So you guys have the giveaway. I'm going to stop the recording in just a second. But I would love to know if this is something that speaks to you inside of the chat. For those of you watching on a replay, if this spoke to you, please reach out. This is by application only, which means you just reach out to me and have a conversation. This mastermind starts Wednesday, March 27th. So this coming Wednesday. So literally in 6 days, we start. And this spring one it's 50% off from what the regular tuition is and moving forward. So this is the time to get in. You will not want to fucking miss this. This is absolutely the most incredible thing. If this is your year, if you feel like this is your year to do business differently, it is your year to actually have a successful business, for you to rewrite your identity, for you to master your nervous system, for you to create a business that feels sustainable, that feels like you can actually do this. You can, you know, be a mom or be a dad, or you can balance your life out. This is for you, because we are going to be going into all of that. There will be strategies, there will be tools, there'll be all of the things, but there will be support. There will be reprogramming your mind, grounding and rooting, play and fun. So that's what I've got for you guys. And I'd love to know in the chat, let me pull that up. Did this speak to anybody? I would love to know if this is speaking to you. If it is, just put in the chat, yes. Like just put, maybe like just put rooted in the chat, and I can reach out to you and we can talk about, you know, like investment, and see if this is something that is aligned for you in your path right now, and where you're at. Perfect. I love this. I love this. I love this. I love this. So I'm going to do the giveaway. So I am going to write a number. So the giveaway tonight, I'm actually going to stop this recording really quick, so that anybody watching this as a replay can not be part of this part. So if you're catching this as a replay, love you. Reach out to me if this spoke to you. And I'd also love to know what you took from this, and all of the things. Thank you.